life is molded by his or her home, school, friends, community. A positive experience in all those areas helps build a healthy child. Cars for Kids, that's Cars with a K, is a registered nonprofit organization that gives kids the tools to succeed in life. If you got a car that's just sitting in your driveway taking up space, you should consider donating it to Cars for Kids. You remember Cars for Kids? They're the folks with that catchy jingle, 1877 cars.
Yes, we've seen their commercials plastered all over cable news, and now Ben Shapiro is promoting them. But what could possibly be so shady about a charity helping underprivileged kids in your community? Well, stay tuned.
If you're tired of looking at that old car in your driveway or hearing your spouse complain about it, why not let Cars for Kids take care of it for you? Here's how it works. Visit their website at carsforkids.org/Ben. Let them take it from there. The whole process only takes 2 minutes.
Okay, we have Mark Dice. You guys, this channel used to love Mark Dice. We haven't really talked about him, but right now he's exposing Ben Shapiro for a shady nonprofit, Cars for Kids. Have you guys heard of it? This is the first time I've heard of it, but Mark Dice literally exposes Ben Shapiro for some of the tactics that he uses. Some might say it's related to ethnicity. I would say that's racist and disavow, but you let me know in the comments down below.
Cars for Kids will schedule a pickup at a time that's convenient for you. If you don't have a car, you can still help. Cars for Kids accepts.
I'll spare you from having to listen to any more of his whiny voice. Obviously, on the surface, it looks just like an ordinary plug. And most YouTubers, as you know, will promote any product or service basically and pretend to care about it, pretend that it's good for the money from these companies. Someone with an audience of Ben Shapiro's size likely getting $5,000 per plug. So Ben Shapiro has paid likely $5,000 just for this one plug alone. But as Paul Harvey used to say, here's the rest of the story.
The charity is under fire by the Minnesota Attorney General's office. It says between 2012 and 2014, Cars for Kids raised $3 million in the state through car donations, but less than $12,000 went to Minnesota kids.
So that's about 1/3 of 1% from the money that they raised over several years just in Minnesota alone that went to help children in Minnesota. Not even 1/3 of the money, which would be $1 million, which would still be shady as hell. Not even 1%, 1/3 of 1%. But I mean, what's next? Are we going to find that the rest of the $3 million went to help Ben Shapiro's favorite ethnic group back on the East Coast? Oh, wait, what's this?
Where does the money go? 90% of the monies donated go to a sister organization, URA, a New Jersey-based charity that operates Jewish youth summer camps in New York.
That's fine if people want to raise money for Orthodox Jews, but they need to be clear and state that's what the purpose is.
And when Ben Shapiro was shilling for this charity, he didn't mention at all that it was going to a certain ethnic group of children. He didn't say it. It didn't say it on the bottom of the screen, not even in any fine print. Just an absolutely...
Bro, I feel like my intro right now is now counter-signaling what okay, let's just move on. This is absolutely insane. This is crazy. Imagine donating to underprivileged children. Yeah, we're going to help them get a car. That's awesome. Just kidding. We're going to make sure that Jews know how to play basketball. All right? We're going to teach them about how fun it is to go to summer camp. We're going to put them in touch with our local rabbi. I'm sure he didn't do any of those circumcision kiss rituals. What are those things called?
The garbage, shady plug from really one of the most shady podcasters in America. When a Christian or a Catholic charity raises money to help those who are less fortunate and in need, they don't discriminate against the people who they're giving that aid to. When you hear of any Christian or Catholic charity helping the community, they're helping anyone and everyone who needs it. But what a surprise, Ben Shapiro partnering with an organization and not disclosing to the audience who it's actually benefiting, while giving the impression that it's just helping kids who are in need, no matter of what community or ethnic group or religion they may be in. Once again, perpetuating the very worst stereotypes of Jewish people. Ben Shapiro is like the very worst spokesperson for Israel and for Jews. This is far worse than the email collection scheme that the Daily Wire launched earlier this year, where they claimed that it was to get a petition going to try to convince President Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin, the white police officer who was thrown in prison for years, many years, because he arrested George Floyd when Floyd had the notorious overdose. He was blamed for that. So they launched the website pardonderek.com to go and sign the petition with your name and your email address. And then they're going to present it to President Trump, trying to convince him to pardon Derek Chauvin, which, even if they would, or he would, wouldn't matter because he was indicted and convicted on state charges. So President Trump pardoning him on federal charges wouldn't get him released from prison. But the whole scheme, the whole idea behind this was to just collect a bunch of email addresses from people who wanted to support a good cause and then spam them with Daily Wire advertisements, which they're going to say, well, we did put the bottom of the screen in the fine print, in this tiny, tiny little fine print. By clicking here, you consent to receive emails featuring news and special offers from the Daily Wire and our sponsors. I thought the point of it was to try to get Derek Chauvin out of prison, not to get on the Daily Wire's spam list. And since I'm not a typical YouTuber, especially an unscrupulous one like Ben Shapiro, who shills shady services and garbage products for money, I promote my own products. So stay tuned because there's plenty more to come in this video. But just a heads up, Friday is the last day to order your Trump Claus knit sweater. Unlike the black that is over the next month, but don't.
All right. I think the Bubba Santa sweater is what we need. The Bubba Trump Santa sweater is what we need. If you guys aren't familiar with Bubba Putin Epstein emails, seriously go look up who is Bubba in relation to Trump. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that one there.
Get your hopes up. It's going to be mostly a nothing burger. If there was anything in there, the Democrats would have leaked it back under the Biden administration when they had full access to those documents in order to try to stop President Trump from winning the 2024 presidential election. But everybody's talking about it. There's going to be some shady things in there. We've already heard about some of the weirdness, especially between the emails. And this is Ben Shapiro's take on it, though. It's the biggest story in the country today. Ben, one of the biggest stories really all year. But this is what Ben Shapiro's assessment of it is.
On a list of American priorities by the polls, the Epstein-Maxwell case comes in pretty close to zero, just on a list of priorities.
The reason why Ben doesn't like people talking about the Epstein files is because of the obvious Mossad connections, which then reflect poorly on his favorite little country. But hey, a former prime minister of Israel said that Jeffrey Epstein had no connection with Mossad or Israel's intelligence agencies whatsoever. And that's enough for Ben Shapiro to want this case to be closed.
If you guys haven't seen the last video with Anna Kasparian and Shank where they call out Ben Shapiro, you have to go check it out. I'll leave a card right here. Seriously, I mean, Ben is circling and circling around the topic without giving his audience a fair chance at looking at the evidence, developing opinions for themselves. Very sad to see what he's doing.
Here is Tucker then asserting that it was actually Mossad. Again, without evidence, not a shock. Of course, this is where Tucker was going. This has become the hot speculation on the internet, is without evidence. You say that Mossad was running Jeffrey Epstein. When I say without evidence, I mean without evidence.
Oh, you mean like how the former head of the IDF visited Jeffrey Epstein's house in New York? Like dozens of times after everybody knew what he was into?
Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli prime minister, said, quote, "As a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't."
Hey, you know what? It's not like a politician or the head of any particular country, especially Israel, has ever lied before. And it's not like those documents that Edward Snowden leaked from the NSA reveal that our intelligence agencies deem Israel to be one of the top spy threats against us. So there's a lot of reasons why most Americans have Israel fatigue, and that's upsetting a small clique of Israel firsters, including Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, and Ted Cruz, who recently said this at another Jewish conference.
This poison is spreading. There are pastors who love Israel who think all is fine, and my message to them is go and talk to the teenagers in your congregation. Go and talk to the 20-somethings in your congregation, because they're picking up their phone and they're watching TikTok and they're watching Instagram and they're hearing this message being driven, and it is resonating. And if you want to know...
This message being, the taboo topics that would never be discussed in mainstream conservatism about Israel, about their history, about Judaism, about Jewish supremacy. You get it, right?
I think we do get it, but you guys, we have to let Ted Cruz speak for himself like he did with Tucker Carlson. Watch this.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What percent?
predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not
Okay.
even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
Okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know
claims
anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out
I'm
if it was a
saying
good
you
idea to
don't
kill
believe-
General Soleimani, and you said it was
don't
bad.
believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really
we're
believe that...
carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not
at all.
bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't really care what Ted Cruz has to say. And in fact, people in Texas, do not vote for him again. We got to get him out of office. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one.